What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Every Week We Follow. We are back with a Bournemouth preview. Massive game. This is, I feel like I've said this on every single video coming up so far. Gary loves the mugs. He's obsessed with the mugs.
I love the
I'm
mugs.
not gonna plug the shop, but you can get your own. Just have a look in the products below. As always, Gary's having some kind of technical issue. Someone's called in.
Yeah, sorry, I'm back.
Right.
It's
Mate,
the mug. That's what you get for putting the mug up.
You're terrible. You're terrible. Anyway, how you doing, guys?
Yeah, good, mate. I'm good. In fact, I'm buzzing, mate, because we've just hit another milestone of 4,000 watch hours on YouTube, and I'm just
we can now make 10p.
Yeah. Does that mean we're official content creators now? Or what?
Oh, I don't
YouTubers?
know, mate. I don't care.
What
I don't put all these professional labels on shit. Who cares?
Like,
no. I'm just enjoying the ride.
The truth is, I should just put. I'm a professional upset people about Ollie Watkins. That's what I was.
Yeah, you're professional Watkins slagger. That's what you are. You're a Watkins McPhee slagger. That is what you are. Anyway, on to Bournemouth. So, I mean, we're going to say it's every game now. It's a massive game. They're all massive games.
Well, actually, this is probably the biggest one, mate, because lose this.
Well, this is the biggest. This is the biggest unless you win it.
Yes, and then then the next one. Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, either way, like the hope either continues and we win it and we go, okay, now we're on to the next massive game, or we lose and then I can just kind of start to think about just relaxing a little bit and going, okay, we've had a great season, and it has been a great season, regardless of the critics will say that we haven't won anything, and is it a disappointing season for not really qualifying for the Champions League? But I've loved it, mate. So either way, we'll know after Saturday's game, won't we? Where we're going to do.
Someone said on one of the previous videos, are we the new Spurs? Right, okay. Now,
I'm offended.
Not Spurs now. But I think that they were alluding to Spurs, 3, 4, 5 years ago, whatever it was, where they were pushing top four constantly. They were this close to winning things. They were getting to finals. They didn't quite get there, and they looked like they were really kicking on. And now they've dropped off a cliff. And I kind of understand I actually understand the comparisons, but I just think the way we're doing it is a bit different, and it feels sustainable.
I agree. I think that's the difference, isn't it? It's not whereas Spurs has felt like they were just trying to get that stadium built, mate. That's what they were doing. It was, and if you look at where they are, they are a million miles off anything.
It's a difficult one with Spurs. I feel like if they don't win the Europa League, Ange will go, and so
I think he'll go if he wins it, mate. I don't think they'll keep him next year.
Interesting. Yeah, potentially. I think the thing is just. I do think there's a team there with Spurs. I do think there is. It's just for whatever reason, just doesn't seem to click. And people keep on pointing the finger at Daniel Levy, and I'm like, actually, the guy's an unbelievable businessman. You're unbelievably profitable. You've actually you've still somehow got that commercial pull. You're going to be in the. Are they in the Club World Cup?
Pass. Don't think so.
Yeah. Someone let us know in the comments if they are, because that is a massive money spinner. So they're actually in a really healthy position. So if they wanted to spend, and he has backed them. They brought in Brennan Johnson. They brought in Solanke. They brought in Madison. So they have brought in players. It's just for whatever reason it hasn't clicked for them. But this isn't the Spurs preview, and this isn't a Spurs podcast. This is the Bournemouth one.
Yeah, we're talking about the comparison, aren't we? And if we get into the Villa, and the point is that it feels like Villa are going in the right direction commercially. There's things that need to be ironed out, but ultimately, people keep talking to me on TikTok Live about, we're in danger of PSR, and I just don't think we are. I think we're in a good, strong position. Because people hear, it's 120 million loss year, but you're not taking into consideration the money that's coming in. It's going to balance the books. We will ultimately sell maybe two players this transfer window. Whether that be Watkins and Ramsey, for instance, which we've talked about loads in the last couple of shows, that will balance the books massively. We'll have the Champions League money that comes in, for this year. we're going to have to be astute. Absolutely, we can't go out there and just.
Well, we're also looking at like there's the stuff around like selling. Is it the rights to the women's team or is it the women's team itself? I'm not sure. There's rumors about that, and we want like 100 million or something for it, which would basically balance those books.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's creative things you can do, and our owners aren't stupid. Like they're not stupid. They're also not the kind of owners that are just gonna go, screw it. We'll just take the points and we'll take the fines and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
They're not that kind of ownership.
I think we're going to be. I think we're going to be okay. We need the players to step up and perform on the pitch to get us into the. That's the key, isn't it? And it starts with who's left on Saturday against Bournemouth. We need them to, after the disappointment of the last couple of weeks, they need to step up and finish the season strong, regardless. And if we get beat by Bournemouth because Bournemouth have been in good form and they'll be buzzing after beating Arsenal last week. They're playing for a European spot themselves. Like it's not an easy game. This is the absolute, for me, most difficult game we've got out of the three that's left. Yeah. So,
and let's just on that. Let's just go. So I've got my gifts. Everyone loves a gift. Now, be prepared that this video might look very weird and very choppy, because what might happen is that YouTube and the dickheads at Premier League and Sky and all those wankers are basically going to be like, "Oh no, copyright! You're using our material now."
Mate, you've cut off any ties I was ever working with Sky.
Well, fuck them. Right, I don't care. I work with the Zone. But anyway, the thing is that if that happens, this video will either not be there, so you won't even be listening to this, or it'll be really chopped because there'll be stuff cut out of it. I'm going to appeal it because it's fair use policy, because we are using this for educational purposes. We are not using this just to go, here you go, here's the goals and the highlights of the game. We are actually like talking about it from an analysis point of view. So
let's fight these corporate motherfuckers.
I've gone right back to the Bournemouth game. Was it August? Or was it?
No, it was October. No, October. I'm sure we played them in October.
Sorry. Yeah. So this was where we had a bit of success. So we had this chance quite early on. Anana, absolute salmon. Gary.
Run of 4 minutes.
Sorry, mate. I lost you. I didn't add you to the thing. I didn't have you on the thing, so we couldn't hear you. But yes, good chance, good save. But then there was this one. Now, I remember this. This was massively dubious, wasn't it? Oh! Apparently just out, wasn't it? It was.
Out. Yeah.
A lovely finish. It's a lovely finish from McGinn. But yeah, ruled out for whatever reason.
Watkins, why didn't you keep it in?
It's not Watkins' fault, is it? We then had this was Watkins at his best. So this was a wonderful little drop of the shoulder and a really rare goal from a certain Ross Barkley into the whole end. Lovely drop of the shoulder that was. He hasn't really done that, and also this kind of situation here, we don't tend to find ourselves in much anymore. Like where we've loaded the box, I just don't feel like this happens. I don't feel like we get it on the transition, or we kind of like seem to get players around the box, but not really like this. Like, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players all in the box.
Yeah, and just getting that little knockdown. Yeah, it's a good goal, isn't it? And like I say, that drop of the shoulder from Watkins there is awesome. Like, it's fantastic. Solves the defender. And maybe he was a little bit more confident here because he was, Duran's on there, but
and get rid of that so that we're not risking cutting the entire segment of us looking at things and talking about stuff.
He was first choice then, weren't he, Watkins?
He was, and sometimes you put Duran up front with him on the shoulder. I'm just going to go to the last video, a GIF from that game, and obviously it was the absolute sucker punch at the end.
94th minute or something like that.
94th. It was basically the last touch of the game. It was the last. He just come on as well. Evan Nielsen had been on that.
It's all right, but Mr. McPhee deserves all the praise in the world for that, right? I've just, mate, that goal you complained last time. I've spent the last few days watching set pieces, right? Just kind of thinking, it's a valid point that I'm making. Like, I know that the stat is up there. We have to see far too many goals from set pieces. We don't score enough from there. The amount of times we give the ball away. I mean, I don't know the exact stat. I haven't got the access to it.
I've asked Stato on Twitter. I've asked him.
Did you?
I'm hoping he comes back to us. because he has like a massive spreadsheet, which is almost like a database of every single
what a legend.
thing that's happened.
Right, because I'm fascinated to know that. And if, again, because
the
for
problem
me,
is that the problem is that we don't have the other teams to compare it to. So like you obviously you want a table of like percentage of
He
only has the Villa.
Well, yeah, that'd be ideal. But the starting point is definitely we can't go give McPhee a raise because again, if you're just judging, let's judge it over the last 4 or 5 seasons. Yeah, brilliant, mate. Sign language.
Usually not give.
I'm amazed they didn't.
I'm going to crack that one.
I mean, it worked because Tielemans scored a great header. But I think sometimes when again, I know as fans, right, and we're trying to be objective, and people had a go at us for not being objective. But it'd be easy for us to sit on here and just go, "Well, the Villa are amazing, and we're so good. We're so good at everything."
Just look at the stats, and we just go, Ollie, he scored. He's our equal leading goal scorer of all time. He's amazing. Yeah. McPhee, we score all the free kicks and set pieces we want. We're amazing. All this guy. Our squad was bought for 300 odd million. It's now worth almost 700 odd million. We're amazing. Like, we could do that. But I mean, and also what's funny is that we've had I actually ignore these comments mainly because you'll have one video where they're saying that we're just like deluded and we're happy clappers and that we're loving the team and that we're not doing as well as we are. And then we'll have other videos where we'll be critical of someone and then they'll just be like, oh, you can't moan about the players. You can't slag them off. I'm like, I'm not slagging them off. I'm passionate as a fan.
Mate, we should have a little disclaimer on the bottom where it says, saying, we are Villa fans. Just to be clear,
our opinions.
We support all players, right? But we're going to be critical from time to time when they don't do what they're supposed to do.
And like every fan, you're fickle, right? You're only as good as your last game. It's the same in work. You're only as good as your last job. Like that is basically it. It's the same things. You're only as good as the last time you worked. You're only as good as the last game. And Ollie Watkins can come out now, score a hat-trick against Bournemouth, and now we're like, fucking hell, Ollie Watkins saved the season. Absolute legend. He's now a top goal scorer. Never sign him up, new contract, 5 years.
I've said several times, mate, if he does that at the end of the season, right, and scores a few more goals, mate, he'll get the praise. Absolutely. But it's just, I think it's crazy to me that people can hold on to the fact about the work rate that he does off the ball. And the reason why I say that, I don't know did you watch the Inter-Barca game?
I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched the highlights.
Well, mate, I'm telling you, right, that is the best advert for football you'll ever see. It's the game. That's the first football match you ever watched. Right. The whole time, mate, the intensity, the levels are next level. That's what you want. That's what you're aiming for. That's not about skill or individual brilliance. That's about desire and passion. And then the individual brilliance comes out. Do you know what I mean? It is. I've never seen it. For me, it's probably the greatest Champions League tie I've seen. Two brilliant teams going at each other, trying to win the game. It was sensational.
It was interesting with Inter because they had to play not how they usually play. They're usually very compact. They keep teams out. But they had to go for it. They had to go out because they knew it was the only way they were going to be able to beat PSG.
Well, or Barcelona. Well,
sorry, Barcelona. Fucking hell, honestly. PSG was on last night against Arsenal. Sorry.
But you look at someone like Watkins and his age, and yes, he does do. But I've noticed this season he hasn't done because he was told by Emery to cover the 18-yard box, right? But he hasn't done the amount of run he did last season. I don't care what anyone says, right? And then I was watching Mkhitaryan I know it's different positions, but he's he's been at Man United. He's coming to the twilight years of his career, mate. In that first 60 minutes in that game, mate, he run his fucking nuts off. He closed everything down, and it was just and it went. And
it's more frustrating with Ollie because we know, like I said, we know we can do it, and we saw it against Newcastle.
Yeah.
But I do think I've said this before as well. I think we'll get on to carrying on about Bournemouth in a sec, but it is also the case of there's games where it works for him, there's games where it doesn't. And I just feel like the way we play and the teams that we come up against now, more often than not, it's not right for him. Whereas when you're up against those bigger teams, he does tend to show up. He tends to he'll get one-on-one with the defender and he'll stand them up and you can hit it direct to him like he did against Newcastle.
Yeah, so my point of it, and it just links into the Bournemouth because he's done well against Bournemouth in the last couple of games. He played well in that game. Last season when we drew 2-2 with them at their place, he was sensational. And my point is that when it's not going for you and the system's not working, right, and you've got to play a different way, like Inter did in there, like, and this not just links to Watkins, it's for Rodgers as well, because Rodgers has gone missing in so many games this year, like, and he's got the potential to be a guy. I watched, and I know it's not a comparison, but if you look at someone like Yamin Yamal, right, I know he's brilliant, but he's only 17,
Like,
mate.
you
Listen,
are
no,
you are
but
opening yourself up to
no,
comment
I am, but
distortion.
it's not about comparing the ability of each player. It's about comparing the desire for each player. Like
Yeah,
watching Yamin Yamal in the second half of that game yesterday, he was. I mean, the other day, don't get me wrong. In the first half, he was frustrated because they were losing 2-0, but in the second half, he just turned up. So you must have said to him, right, just keep going. And then to the 120th minute, mate, that guy was attacking people at every opportunity he got.
yeah.
Rodgers would do it 3 or 4 times and then
It
tie
is.
up by the 60th
It
minute.
is.
Now,
So now the thing, I think we'll move on from this in a sec because obviously it's not what
yeah,
the episode's about. But like, I think also you've got to remember though, we're not watching these players week in, week out. We're watching our players week in, week out. And you're watching them in probably the biggest games of their season. And again, even with Villa, like you watched us against teams like when we played PSG or when we played like, you know, not the Man City recently, but the Newcastle games was massive. These players did turn up. They did in
yeah.
those games. They were
Well,
massive. And so I think if you do isolate those games and just
the
watch
put,
those games, you're like, these players, the work rate,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, and
And I
I'm
think
not saying that Barcelona don't do it normally and Inter don't do it normally,
mate,
but
the
like,
frustration is consistency, right? Now you're right. We don't watch this, and I think my point is that we've not been consistent throughout this entire season. So
yeah, no,
and
yeah,
going
we've
going
had
into the
very
Bournemouth
little
game,
consistency. There was just that period where we had like 5 wins out of 6 or whatever it was.
yeah, we
That was the period.
and I guess that is either injuries or fatigue or whatever it is. What I'm saying is there's levels to it, and we've got to try and get the point is in these last 3 games, can we get can Emery get the best out of these players to perform at that level to get us the results we need to get into the champ? Because ultimately, if you want to compete in the the Champions League,
Yeah,
that's
that's
the
what you
levels
need.
you've got to get
Yeah,
to.
yeah, yeah.
Like so,
And that,
there's no
but
more.
Emery,
I'm not.
Emery spoke about this before. He's constantly talked about consistency.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
said we want to be consistent. We're raising the levels, we're raising the intensity, and we want consistency. We want to raise that intensity and hold it. And he's talked about that. And I just don't know whether, you know, it is the end of a long ass season and it just is.
Well,
We're
my
running out of
worry is that at
changes.
this point in the season, players will probably know whether they're going or staying.
Yeah, that's
We
fair.
won't know, right?
Yeah,
And I think that will determine his team selection and it will determine the performance. So
yeah, potentially,
it'll
potentially.
be, and when you know that as a player, you know, do you give your? It depends on the individual. Okay, these are my last 3 games for us, so I'm going to give it all and end on a high, or
Yeah, I
I
also
don't give
think
a shit. I'm on my
it's
way
not
out.
like something where you actively go out and go, "Oh, I can't be asked." It's just it can be in the
No,
back of your head, and you're kind of like
yeah,
there going, "I'm having another bad game. I don't know. It's only a couple more
yeah,
to go."
you
You
just
know,
go
it's
through the
like,
motions, don't you? You just
yeah,
go
yeah,
through the
it does
motions,
happen. Yeah,
right? So I'm not saying that any Villa players going out there to not perform, but like it does change the performance
yeah, of course it
levels
does.
certainly.
Of course it does.
So
And you see it on players all the time, and you see it at clubs which are quite toxic. You know, Man U and stuff. That they don't. That team isn't bad enough to be where it is. You know, it's that kind of thing. But
yeah,
right, back onto this. So I did some looking at Arsenal Bournemouth and where Arsenal had some success. So Declan Rice, by the way, he's
yeah,
playing as a striker here.
yeah, it was.
This is wild, like absolutely mental, running off the shoulder. Sounds a really good run, good chance.
That could be
And
Ollie
then
Watkins
this one
next
was him
season, mate.
again, mate. This was him again.
Yeah, yeah,
Rounded the keeper like a striker.
yeah. That'll be
Absolutely
Watkins
unreal.
next. So it
Now I
looks like
tell
a
you
Watkins
what,
goal. That does.
but these two are exactly what Watkins I think should play and will play, and I do think he'll have success, like you said, against Bournemouth, because he will end up in these one-on-one situations with the defender.
Yeah,
Because this is what happened with Arsenal consistently throughout the game. Obviously, they did actually lose the game, and
yeah,
it lost it from 2 set pieces.
yeah.
So McPhee, earn your keep, mate, because this is a
I mean, it's
long
terrible
throw in,
defense.
bang, flick on,
I mean,
goal.
to score from a long throw like that
Oh,
is criminal.
terrible
Yeah, I
criminal.
mean,
And
it's a
then the
great goal for
second one's
Bournemouth,
a
but
corner. The second one's a corner, and it's a bit, it's bundled home. It's a bit of a
uh,
mistake maybe from Raya. But yeah, again, another corner. So set pieces are a little bit of a worry.
and
with this game, and we have been susceptible to them. And it has to be. Sorry, but if he plays Torres, I'm going to flip my lid because he has to play Mings in this game because
100%.
set pieces are going to be key.
He should have played Mings in the last 3 games, mate. And I think for whatever reason, well, we know the reason is that Torres is his main man and he's going to get the nod. So I think it will be Torres again. It should be Mings. And that's disappointing. I don't know. Like I say, I think it will be telling. And I think if Mings isn't going to start these kind of games, I think Mings could well go in the summer because he needs to be playing and he deserves to be playing, mate. Like, so, that will be disappointing because
that'd be really disappointing. It'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to see what clubs will come in for him, and like what level, and whether he's happy to just play or whether he just wants to be part of a European campaign or that kind of thing. But we'll have to see on that. I don't want to speculate too much.
No, we could talk about that in the summer, mate. And like we've said before, we don't know. The guy is coming back from injury as well, and we don't know the levels of that. So it might be.
That's another point. Obviously, it's been a whole season now, and I think it just hasn't been the best season for him. But it's the same with Watkins. He had that injury at the start of the season. He didn't really have a rest because he was playing for England. He then came back too quick. Like we basically started him. I don't think he scored for like 6-7 games at the start of the season, and everyone was calling for his head at that point. Duran was obviously knocking on the door, and then he just hasn't quite got going, basically. And again, you just don't know how niggly these injuries are and how much they fester throughout the season.
No.
And this kind of stuff. But you can't put it all on that. But right, on to our predictions, Gaz. So as always,
are we doing lineups first, or are we going straight to predictions?
Oh, we'll do lineup. Okay, sorry. Our lineups.
Yeah.
So let's go on to your lineup, Gaz. Here we go. This is what you got.
Here we go.
Oh, okay.
Yes, mate.
So this is again what you think we should do, not what you think Emery will do.
This is what I think.
Because I've just said that I think Ollie should be.
Yeah, no, I wanted to say the surprise, mate. No, I don't for a second don't think Ollie won't start. I think he will. But in terms of my own personal choice, in his current form, another 2 chances missed against Fulham. And I just want to see
missed chances as well. So we need to be objective there. Marlon missed those chances.
Marlon did miss some chances,
but sample size of that game.
But Marlon's had nowhere near the minutes to kind of get up to speed with, and he still looks more of a threat than Watkins does. If I'm honest, and like I just want to see him given some minutes, and I've got nothing wrong with Marlon. I think playing Marlon for 60 minutes and bringing Watkins on for the last half hour maybe, but it won't happen anyway. Watkins will start, but I want to see Marlon get some minutes, right? So
I want more than 5 or 2 or 3, whatever he's been getting. Actually, I think he had 15 in the last game, but I'd like a good half hour. Take Watkins off at 60.
Well, the thing is, for my last few predicted lineups, mate, or what I wanted to do, I've left McGinn out, and I just don't think that's justified. I think he has to start. So,
when you talk about effort and you talk about work,
he's our captain, mate, and he's been sensational in the last few weeks. He's absolutely raised the bar in terms of what I just talked about desire, work rate, passion, that kind of stuff.
We've also got to think about the players who got to think about the players who are going to be here next season, and we've talked about Asensio. He's dropped off his level a bit, and I'm not 100% sure whether we will sign him. And obviously Rashford's out, so I'm kind of like, don't start Asensio. Bring him on if you need him. But start the players that are going to be here.
I agree, which is why he doesn't start in this lineup, and Rodgers gets the nod in that number 10 because that's where he's most dangerous. Ramsey as well. I think that formation backs up allows Maatsen and Cash to bomb on because both Ramsey and McGinn will easily drop in and fill into those spaces if needed. McGinn will just play anywhere. I'd put McGinn as more of a free role roaming, and because he's not a right winger, but in terms of he can play that role and he can do it well. And then obviously, as we just talked about, it has to be Mings and Konza for me. It just has to be. I don't. We like to say with the set piece threat. We need the no nonsense defending, and I just miss it. And I think
we've clean sheets back.
Yeah, well, I know we got a clean sheet against Fulham, but
we did. But I mean, it was Fulham didn't offer a huge amount, but I don't know. We need our best chance of winning these last 3 games is 3 clean sheets.
100%, mate. 100%.
Three clean sheets, 1-0. Like that's our best chance of winning these 3 games. I'm just like,
well, it's interesting because the argument is, isn't it, with Mings and Torres is that Torres is a ball player, but you've got 2 players in front of you there, Tielemans and Kamara, who are both ball players. Let them do that.
Is almost also a ball player. Conser's getting better at it as well, and then even Martinez, even Martinez can play a ball over the top.
Look at it. But if you look at the whole season, mate, we've conceded way too many goals, and again, we've got to go through this, and maybe we can do it as a post-season thing where you look at like how many goals we've conceded. We had that stat with Mings, with Torres in the team. Because
unfortunately, the numbers don't back you up there. Because I believe that when we were talking about it earlier in the season, before we had those clean sheets, we'd conceded a similar amount to the previous season. It's the goals that we were scoring that weren't there. And then obviously at the time we were talking about the fact that there's a lot more scrutiny on Watkins because he's not scoring, because we're not winning games. So because goals aren't coming from elsewhere, and because we were leaking. I think the problem was more that I think last season, I don't think it was as like the goals weren't as spread out. I remember there was a point last season where we weren't going a single game without like conceding 3 or 2 or 3. It was like 3-2, 4-3. It was all these kind of crazy score lines. So I actually think that last season it was more concentrated. Like we were conceding a lot of goals in games, but then I'm sure we went on a run of like 8 or 9 clean sheets or something. I can't remember. But we had a period where we really solidified. Whereas this season, we haven't really done that. We have that little patch of clean sheets, and then but we always concede. The first shot is like brutal. Just like first shots have got you give yourself.
Mate, we've had this season. We've just had runs of 3 or 4 games where we've been great and we've strung a few results together. Then we've had a couple of losses, and then it just stutters and starts because the results go against you, and you end up dropping to where we are. And I think where we are is a true reflection. We've done amazing to still. We've said this throughout the entire season, mate. We've done amazing to keep within touching distance. The fact that we can still potentially qualify for the Champions League is incredible. It's been a fantastic season, as I said at the start of the show. As a fan, I'm just hoping that we can do what we need to do and win these last 3 games, and then let's see where the chips fall. Do you know what I mean? Like that's all we can do. But I've got a feeling that we talked about this, I think, on the last show, where we'll probably beat Bournemouth, we'll beat Spurs, lose to Man United on the last day, and results will go for us. And if we'd have won, we'd have fucking qualified. And I'll be like,
this is the thing. So like if we win our games, you can't complain about anything, right? You've won your games, and you've gone, look.
Mate, if we finish on 69 points, that is our best league total since 1976, 77.
And right, 69.
69. Get your mind out the gutter, James. My wife will watching this. Come on.
Anyway, on to our predictions. So, as always, everyone, we write our predictions down on pen and paper, and then we.
I write them in the celebrity notebook and pen, mate.
Is it?
I went all out.
Celebrity checkbook and pen, isn't it? That's why it was on blank.
But you're more than a result in my little black book. You're more than a one-night stand. There you go. That's for the loyal fans.
Thanks for that. Right. Anyway,
you look so unimpressed. Mate, I just serenaded you and everything. Oh, good.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Oh God. Right.
Wait, Bournemouth is too long a name to fit on my page.
Yeah, I'll put B' mouth.
No, I've read the whole thing.
Could put cherries.
Cherries.
The cherries. Why is their badge not just a couple of just 2 dangling cherries?
Because it looks like testicles, mate. That's why.
That's a fair point. I mean, what is it? I'm just looking at what it is. Is it a little mountain?
I don't know, but if you look at it, look at the era. No, it's a face, and the ear of it is not level with the someone pointed out.
Face? Is that what it's meant to be?
Yeah. Look at it closely.
Meant to be like a puppet, it's got a massive chin.
Yeah, but look at the ear. It's not level with the eye. Like you say, your ears are level with your eyes. Most people, it's down by the jawline. It's really funny. I've never noticed it before, but someone did it on TikTok, I think.
I'm not. Oh yeah, I think is it a side-on face?
Yeah,
like a silhouette.
Yeah, like a silhouette.
What? And the red bit's the ear.
Yeah, if you look at it's like you can see because it curves round, but it's down like by the jawline. It's really odd.
Yeah, that's a bit weird. Yeah, not sure about that.
Yeah. So if there's any Bournemouth fans, what's with your badge? I don't understand.
Yeah, what's with the badge?
What's it represent? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe.
On it just quickly, because we were talking about this before, and you guys were joking. You guys were like going at me, going, "Oh, well, this ain't going to ever happen." When we redesigned the badge, it really annoys me that we haven't planned for another star. We've got one star in there, and there's only enough room for one star. So I'm just like, so we've just been pessimistic, or are we going to do another freaking badge design?
Mate, look, if you keep this one, you could put it in this corner, or you could just move the line slightly there. Well, mate, they'll make this
it's gonna be like the American flag, and you basically just gonna have the Star Spangled Banner, like it's gonna go around.
Mate, you extend that up half an inch, you could just go across the top of the lion.
I don't like it. No, I don't like it. Well, as a designer as well, like you move that up, you got to move the line up. You can't have the lion sitting down at the bottom. And no, don't like it.
So James,
they should. What they should have done. Well, there's two things they could have. One, I still don't think it needed to be encased in a badge. Like, I actually think it could have just been sat with a star. And then the other one is, if they'd done it flatter, they could have just put the star outside at the top centered, and then you can have as many as you like.
Well, mate, you could take the shield away, just have the lion, and you can put as many an Aston Villa. That'd look amazing. If you took the shield off, all right, and just had the lion.
Just hire me. Don't need this shit. Anyway,
if there's anyone from the Villa watching, James is available for all your badge and design needs.
Right, you ready? You got your result?
I've been born ready, mate.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Oh, I've gone for it. I've gone for what I said. I've gone for the clean sheet is what we need.
I know what you said, mate. I just don't see it happening. We can't keep. I think Bournemouth's threat. Not only from set pieces, but in behind as well with Evan Alisson, whatever his name is. He caused us problems in the first game. I think they will score. I think we're going to have to win 2-1. He
doesn't tend to start though, Nelson. I don't know why. He tends to come on.
Oh, we started the last couple of games. He started against Arsenal. I think he'll keep it. I think they'll keep the same team that beat Arsenal. Why wouldn't you? They haven't got the depth that we have.
I saw him coming on, or maybe that was Semenyo. I'm not sure.
Either way, but they've got play like Semenyo as well, pacing behind, mate. Like, and again, if Torres plays, if we play
Torres, I'm sacking the day off. It's my son's birthday that day as well, so I've already got to do a bit of work to try and convince Jess to let me watch it. Anyway,
you're not watching the game for Henry's birthday.
Yeah, Henry. Yeah, he'll love it. He'll just be sat there going,
yeah. Like that's how I support the Villa, mate.
What you do with Watkins, isn't it? Anyway, on that
note, I love Watkins.
Gary, final thoughts, mate. What is your last rallying cry?
Final thoughts. Yeah, it's do or die, isn't it? It's a massive game, and I'll be happy when it's over either way, because I think if we win, it's game on, and it goes on to Spurs. Massive game on a Friday night. Thanks for moving that. And it just, I don't know. It's the hope that kills you, isn't it? And that's what we're going to have to take from this season. I don't want to.
I do want to say. I'm going to say it now. If we win this game, we win the remaining games of our season. If we win this game, we beat Spurs, we beat Man U. That is for me. For me, that is what this game is. This game decides
is that one to set it up.
This is it. This is the game. So if we win this,
okay. My final thought is if we win this game and Newcastle beat Chelsea on Sunday, right? It's game on. It's absolutely game on.
I'm getting goosebumps and shit like all over.
But what an exciting end to the season. It's been a fabulous season. I've enjoyed every minute of it, mate. Doing this, bantering with people online. It's been amazing.
Yeah, doing this has actually like heightened the whole thing massively, because you're getting all these debates with people, you're angering a nation.
Yeah.
It's been what a great season to start it as well, with PSG and the Champions League and stuff.
Champions League, yeah. It's just been fabulous, hasn't it, the European nights? And so I want that again. I've tasted it now, I want it. So yeah, that's if we beat Bournemouth tomorrow on Saturday and Chelsea lose on Sunday, then mate, it's all to play for.
quick one, and this is a question that doesn't need a massively long answer because I want to end this in like the next minute.
Yeah.
Would you rather get Champions League and get to the quarterfinals again, or would you rather Europa League and win it and get Champions League for the following season?
Oh, you bastard!
Yeah. See, and this is the argument, right? This is always the argument.
Okay, I'm going to go with Champions League and quarterfinals because, and only because, right, for the financial gain to
that's
grow
rubbish.
the team.
Fuck the financial shit. No one can. Come on, man. No one can. No, I want to win. I want to win something.
Yeah,
I want us to win something. I want to win Cup and get Champions League, and then maybe that season we've built enough that we could potentially win the bloody Champions League. You don't know, but
what I'd rather is to have a Champions League run again to quarterfinal and win the FA Cup. That's what I'd like.
Yeah, but you'd only be in the Europa League again, mate.
And then go with that, and then win the Europa to get back in the Champions League.
Oh, so you're going to just delay it a season? Okay, fine.
Just delay a season. Cool. That's my answer. Right. There you go.
Brilliant. Well, that's all we've got time for today. But thank you everyone for joining. As always, yes, if you do want to buy some merch, there is shops. I think there'll be products down below. Obviously got Gary's angry face, and if there's anything we don't have in there that you like would buy or you'd be interested in, let us know. Like whether you want I don't know, wallets or whatever it is that you're looking for. Just let us know. What's that? What did you say?
Pin badges.
Oh, pin badges. Oh, okay, right. Sorry. But yeah, there's all sorts that we can try and work out. So just let us know.
And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah, like, subscribe as always. And we will be doing a post-match. It might not be Saturday. Actually, it probably will be Saturday because Henry's birthday's on Sunday. So, as in his birthday party. We're doing like a little family thing. So, probably Saturday evening.
Saturday Night Live, mate. Again.
Yeah, Saturday Night Live.
Get the SNL.
Right. Awesome. Well, thanks everyone. And Gary, do your little sing-song. Do what you want.
Every week we follow the boys in claret and blue. Peace and love.